paintbrush of chaos rushes forth and repaints the world. A torrent of vermilion, blue, and jet black fills the canyons of thought, simply diffusing, absorbing, and trembling the scenes that forgot to breathe without rules, painting an unpredictable future. The pattern of madness has no orbit, but a solitary fortress is there, a tower of shelter built by silent reason. Not a ripple is created on its walls, no matter how the brushstrokes of chaos touch it. It is not stillness, but an unbroken equilibrium that swallows the whirlpool of madness. The patterns carved on the wall were once part of a madness. Within the fortress, they are transformed and reorganized as a single reason. Madness does not undermine reason, but reason accepts madness, reweaves it, and creates a new harmony. And then the world notices the fort. Disorder chisels the fort like a wave, but the fort never collapses, transcending the patterns of madness and still standing. When chaos engulfs it all, the last thing that remains is the spinning edge of night. Whenever the shadows of its black, wet feathers fly away, towing the ghosts of language, the piers of reason creak, and the walls of truth whisper in the wind. To prevent this canopy, woven with patterns of madness, from becoming a mere picture of emptiness, we will write the laws of shelter on this place and try to tune the silence. The fortress shakes and trembles at the moment when the pulse of the city pulsates constantly and the waves of madness undermine thought. It holds heat, embraces light, and cloaks itself in darkness, transcending the waves of madness, and each word it releases becomes the cornerstone of the fortress. The azure sky, filled with rifts, leaks through the gaps in the distorted twill. The boundary between reason and unreason is dissolved, and the norm is merely the reverberation of whispers, a fortress of protection that refuses to be swallowed by the waves, as if mocking the torrent. Stepping on the threshold of time, it is an arc of memory, built on a foundation of words. The captive thought, born of the afterglow of reason, comes to life. Shadows are the outlines of the frenzied patterns spreading out beneath our feet, and chaos invites order. The fortress is still silent, just there, a dance of light shimmering in the darkness of the night. The pattern of madness laughs at order. It blurs into the wrinkles of time and repeats collapse and creation without a sound. It is a nexus of formless wills. The fortress built from the rubble of concepts rebounds the waves of passion and stills the endless whirlwind. To resist the frenzy is to reject the frenzy of the outside world, to shave off freedom. And the fortress nurtures a cold nothingness within. It drives a wedge of silence in order not to be consumed by frenzy. But even the fortress, as part of the frenzy, is a thread of illusion that dances in the sky. The lacerations carved into the folds of consciousness extend like the tentacles of a nameless creature, eroding the bulwarks of reason. The place where the foundation stone of reason is piled up to overcome the sea of disorder, and a silent wall encompassing contradictions is surrounded. There, silence reigns, encompassing the conflict of all things, catching the waves of madness but never sinking. Time without boundaries sucks in the fragments of concepts that come and go, opening a hole in the sedimentary layers of consciousness. The door to the unknown is beyond consciousness, the mother womb where the nameless guardian closes his eyes and conceives a new order. Eventually, the walls of the fortress dissolve and sink into the pattern. The brush of the storm becomes a breath of disorder, a pulsation of echoing chaos, a torrent that swallows reason while shattering the gears of time. Those who pick up the fragments of peeled order and hand down the cold light of reason, piling up stones that resist distortion, they erect pillars between crumbling meanings. The watercolor of madness cascades through the sky, but we rise above it with an unwavering will. Eventually, the storm realizes its insignificance. The pattern of madness recedes like a wave, and night regains its form in silence. The whirlpool of chaos trembles between rules and deviations. Patterns stand on the edge of madness, trying to embrace meaning, but swallowed by the swell of indeterminacy. Shapeless shadows wander, pregnant with words. The crystallization of hard will is a protective boundary woven by the silence of knowledge. Symbols burn with sparks, concepts become walls, shields that quell the surging waves of emotion. The frenzied patterns dancing in the distance are the trajectories of comets that break through the net of reason and disappear. Countless trajectories intersect, spinning different geometries at each moment and impregnating the audience with new madness and compassion that will not be swallowed by the tide of madness.